So we're going to move into the second part of this conversation. It's been referenced in the first part, and that is the funding announcement that was made yesterday. We're gonna play this through. We're going to stop it a couple of times to have a bit of a chat about what's going on. But let's just play. This is from TVNZ News last night. This was the lead story about that announcement that's already been referenced and what the announcement is going to actually give New Zealanders.
More than $500 million has been committed to keeping Kiwis safe from crime with a raft of new measures revealed in a pre-budget announcement. The goal is to have at least one police officer for every 480 people in the country.
So look, I wanted to actually stop there straight away. Is that good or bad? If you're watching, do you know? Is that good or bad? So there's actually stats around there that actually tell us what number of police officers have had per 100,000 people around the world. Now, TVNZ has talked about it as the 1 to 480. That's about 208 per 100,000. Right, so that's what that number would be, 208 per 100,000. You can see at the moment, if I go back to my thing, New Zealand is, or the world average is about 156 per 100,000. Obviously, that's going to be skewed a bit because when you look at places like Vatican City, that kind of stuff, they've got 15,000 per 100,000 because they've only got 130 because of the size. But it puts New Zealand already, New Zealand is already at, we're in here, aren't we? There we go. New Zealand's already at 197. So the solution that the government is giving that is being sold in the media now is 10 more police officers per 100,000 people is going to make all the difference. This is how kind of Labour is now also playing the game, that they've been challenged. You're soft on crime. They go, oh, we're going to make this huge difference. 1 per 480. So you think about 10,000 people. Okay, 10,010 people are sitting in a stadium. Now, 10 of them are police officers. So, actually, I'm wrong. What am I saying? 100,000 people sitting in a stadium is what I meant to say. 100,000 people and 10. 110,000 people? 100,000 people, but 10 more. And 10 of them are police officers. That's the difference that we're being funded. You can see how the politicking from both sides is kind of horseshit. Because I think many of us will know that 10 additional police officers per 100,000 people isn't going to make a huge difference. It might make a difference, but it's not going to make a huge, and the word that we love in this show, meaningful difference. So that's what that 1 to 480 is going to make for New Zealand. If you're actually interested in having a look, like at like-minded countries, what would be a like-minded country? Australia? Can I do this in order of country? Oh, yeah. What's Australia out of interest? 264. So we're going to 208. They're 264. What about the UK? Would that be a like-minded? Probably. Scroll to the UK out of interest. I haven't looked at these yet, so they're going to
be handy if they had England and Wales. So remember, Guy and Espineth saw that as a comparable in terms of law and order comparable place.
Let's have a look.
But they might just only have the UK.
They've got Wallace. It's not Wales. Oh, they don't actually have the UK. They've got United States.
So maybe they do have England.
Have a look, eh? So yeah. So when I see details, England and Wales, there you go. They're perfect. England and Wales going to be about exactly what we're going to be. We're going to 208. It's 211. So we're going to be comparable. So when we see numbers like this, when I see numbers like this, the first thing I always want to do is, what the fuck does that mean? Is that good? Is that bad? Is it different? So 1 to 480 people is 208 police officers per 100,000 citizens. Let's keep playing.
Gangs are also being targeted, with $94 million going towards tackling organised crime. And after a spate of recent ram raids, there's funding to help businesses protect themselves against these sorts of attacks. Senior political reporter Benedict Collins has details and reaction.
This Mangere petrol station, the latest site of a late-night ram raid. The attack.
So just to bring it to attention again, the way the media is talking about this, the funding is for crime, right? The funding is for more police. The lead story is about ram raids, ram raids, ram raids, ram raids, ram raids. How many ram raids have happened in New Zealand this week? I'm not saying it's not bad for these shops, but in comparison to how many, let's say, pieces of domestic violence have happened this week, you know, like what should the focus be on? But this makes a very good headline.
Coming as no surprise to a retailer across the road.
It's happened 3 times now. That's what we have heard, and which is not appreciated because everybody's working hard.
And it's the spike in high-octane crimes like these.
There's the photo. Those boys are loving seeing that again.
that has the government worried.
It's dreadful, isn't it? That's why we're acting so quickly to ensure that we can work with small businesses to deal with the issue of ram raids.
How exactly they will combat ram raids isn't clear.
We've got a little bit more work to do, particularly in consulting small businesses.
Let's stop the ram raids. Let's actually stop them happening so they don't have to put bollards in, so they don't have to take more and more extreme measures in terms of trying to fortify their shops. We live in New Zealand. We should be the most peaceful and the safest country in the world, and we're not.
Concerned.
Consulting small businesses.
All right. So if you're wondering, right, what I've been saying about how National is selling this well, first of all, can I just say to TVNZ, what the fuck happened to your chyrons? What the fuck happened to the names of people underneath what they are? Have you noticed this? I've noticed this. Now, I don't really watch One News or News Hub on the television. I watch it on the internet. But do you notice that, watch this, if you're a news watcher, watch this in the future, names aren't coming up. So I had to first figure out who this fucker was. And of course, he is a National Party MP. Fine, fair enough. I apologize for what I was thinking. And he's the Justice spokesperson, right? So this is the National Party representative, the Justice spokesperson, basically coming up going, stop ram raids. Stop them, government. Stop the ram raid. You got to stop. Stop the ram raids. This is this idea of gish galloping that we've talked about so many times, where someone will give you a headline, stop the ram raids, and someone then has to spend, what are we at now? 38 minutes talking why that's not such an easy thing to do, and it's a bigger picture. But the headline is, stop the ram raids. Government hates the ram raids. Stop the ram raids. So let's just listen to the National Spokesman for Justice again.
Let's stop the ram raids. Let's actually stop them happening so they don't have to put bollards in, so they don't have to take more and more extreme measures in terms of trying to fortify their shops. We live in New Zealand. We should be the most peaceful and the safest country in the world, and we're not.
Concerns.
So, of course, the natural question to ask the Honourable Mark Mitchell, right, is how do you stop the ram raids? How do you stop the ram raids, Mr. Mitchell? How do you stop them? Just let us know, because if they're that easy, just stop them. Just stop the ram raids. Just stop them. If they're that easy, how do you stop them? How does the police minister, the government agencies, the police just stop the ram raids? Just stop the 17-year-old, the 15-year-old, the 20-year-old, the 18-year-old in whatever suburb in the city you want to identify for where you live. Where I live in Dunedin, so let's just say in central Dunedin. I don't know. Going out late after drinking with his mate, stealing a car and driving into the front of the car. Just stop that. Government, you have to stop that. How? Just how do we stop that? And again, respectfully, we should be the most peaceful country in the world. How?
Yeah. I mean what is...
I don't disagree with that. I want to see ram raids stop, and I want to be living in the most peaceful country in the world. Just, this oppositional party and all oppositional parties. So if it was the other way around, I'm guarantee you it would be Labor saying this to National. Don't get me twisted. This is not necessarily an attack on National, but as the oppositional MP, will give headlines, bullshit headlines, to drive a narrative, which they've done very successfully, right? They've done this well, because now every media outlet, that interview that I played before, Tova O'Brien, was asking, should the police minister resign for being soft on crime? Because she hasn't stopped the ram raids. The ram raids have not been stopped.